Welcome to McD Studios. We're here today filming another video in our Helpful Video series. I'm James McDonald, and this is Stephanie Jones. Stephanie is a manager of one of our local feed stores here in Cowtown. For those who are not familiar with the term, Cowtown is the big town of Fort Worth, Texas. Stephanie's been in the feed industry for over 6 years, but has been in the horse industry all of her life. Stephanie is also the person that when I have a question about feed or nutrition, horse feed, she's the lady I go to. This is who I actually buy my horse feed for our family. So, Stephanie, welcome to our studios.
Thank you.
Stephanie, I see that you brought us some samples today. Why don't you tell us what you brought us?
Yes, James, I sure did. Today I brought some steamrolled oats, some whole oats, a sweet feed, and then a pelleted ration.
Stephanie, I see that you brought us some oats. You know, growing up, we always had oats included in our horses' feeding routine. Was that a good thing?
Well, it could have been a very good or a bad thing, and the reason I say that is because oats, when fed with a good vitamin and mineral package, can be a very, very effective feed when you're feeding your horses. However, if you weren't supplementing with some kind of additional vitamin and minerals, then you may have been lacking in the vitamin and mineral area. Also, oats by themselves are not balanced in protein and fat, which is very essential to a horse's diet. Okay, James, I brought two different kinds of oats today because I think it's very important to differentiate between the two. This one right here is going to be a steamrolled oat, and this one is a whole oat. The reason I brought the steamrolled is because it is a lot easier for horses with older teeth to chew and digest them. Even though you do lose a little bit of the nutritional value when you steam them, it is much easier for an older horse to digest. Now, on the whole oats, they do, of course, have a little bit more nutritional value, but unless the horse's system is strong enough to break down the casein on the oat, then you're not really going to get what you need out of it. For example, younger horses typically would be fed a whole oat versus a steamrolled oat for an older horse.
Stephanie, we also had sweet feed added to our oats. What about that?
Well, that may have been a good thing because horses love sweet feed. It's very palatable. So maybe if you had a finicky eater or maybe a young horse that you were trying to get on grain, it was definitely the way to go. Another plus for sweet feed is that most companies that produce it add a vitamin and mineral package and also ensure you that every bag you get is going to have a balanced protein and balanced fat. So it could have been a very effective thing to do.
Okay, so we talked about the benefits of sweet feed. What about the cons or the downsides of sweet feed?
Well, there is one very well-known con to sweet feed, and that is the flies love it as much as the horses do. It attracts bugs all the time because of the molasses. And also one thing that I'd like you to know too is with it being a mixed grain, it enables the horses to pick and choose what they want to eat. So they may not always be getting everything that they could out of a sweet feed.
My family actually, we feed pellets right now, Stephanie. So am I being smart or is that a mistake on my part?
No, James, I definitely say that feeding pellets is the way to go. It's my personal favorite and one my horses are actually on as well. And I say that for a couple of reasons. One, it's a whole lot easier for horses to chew. Two, also, most companies that produce a pelleted horse ration, they add that very essential vitamin and mineral package that needs to be in there for your horses to get the vitamins and minerals that their bodies require. It also enables you to add water. Say you have an older horse that, they're 26 years old and dropping a ton of feed and they just don't have the teeth like they need to digest feed. You can actually add water to a pelleted diet and make a mush. So even though they can't chew the feed and may not be getting the best digestibility, you can make it almost a soup, that way that they can get what they need out of the feed.
So what's the shortcomings of pellets?
Well, really the only shortcoming that I can think of is that pellet just isn't as appealing to horses as the sweet feed is.
The flavor.
Yes, exactly. The horses, especially the young ones, tend to go to that molasses, even though it's not always as beneficial as a pellet is. When feeding a balanced diet of grain and fiber, it's not always necessary to add additional supplementation. Actually, in fact, when you add too many supplements, it can actually do more harm than it can good. Well, there's many good feeds out there. It's just a matter of finding a good feed that your animal does well on.
To feed or not to feed?
That is the question.